Commissioner of the Sierra Leone Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Francis Kaifala. A personal parade mounted by the chairman of Sierra Leone National Youth Service Corps, comprising 522 recruits, 6 flank officers under the command of Sergeant Sadu, to reformed up and ready for your inspection, sir.
The guest of honor is now going to descend, and she's going to be escorted.
Thank you very much for your inspection. I have your kind permission to carry on with the rest of it. Please proceed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Honorable Minister of Youth Affairs, the Coordinator of the National Youth Service, Honorable Ministers here present, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, heads of agencies and departments of state, distinguished guests, graduates, I greet you all. It's a great honor bestowed upon me to be here today to speak on the graduation of the 3rd cohorts of the National Youth Service Corps. And of course, as Mandela would say, whenever I am with energetic young people, I feel like a recharged battery myself. I'm honored to have been invited by the Minister of Youth Affairs and the National Youth Service Coordinator to make this keynote address at such a historic event for the young people of Sierra Leone. The National Youth Service was established in 2016 and commissioned in 2018. This laudable enterprise by our government is the highest point for consideration of youth and their needs since independence to date. It is both laudable and commendable. Issues pertaining to young people should be on the hearts and minds of governments. Young men and women today face increasing uncertainty in their hopes of undergoing a satisfactory transition, particularly when they graduate from universities. And this uncertainty and disillusionment can in turn have damaging effects on individuals, communities, economies, and society at large. Africa's population stands at 1.2 billion. 75% of this huge population is made up of young people under the age of 35. For Sierra Leone, according to Restless Development, we have an 80% population made up of young people below the age of 35. Of this, 1/3 is between the age of 15 and 35. 1/3. This youthful population represents and presents the present and the future. What we do with this population will determine what will be Sierra Leone in the years to come, because they are going to occupy the positions from the military to public service to private sector. It will be those who are today in that age bracket who are going to change the story of Sierra Leone or build on it. Almost all research I have come across have similar points on the issues affecting young people, including the lack of job opportunity, high illiteracy rate, drug abuse, lack of decent and affordable housing, perpetration of and involvement in crimes, and violence, amongst many others. UNDP figures indicate that 70% of our youth population are either underemployed or unemployed. The situation is in fact grimmer for young women. Ongoing COVID-19 pandemic ravaging the world has massively worsened the situation of the young people. Because of the closure of businesses, hundreds of young people are losing jobs by the day. Compounding the situation is the high illiteracy rate among Sierra Leoneans, with the new education policy stating that about 69% of the male population and 80% of the female population are illiterate. Even though they are often considered as the energetic workforce, yet large percentage of young people remain under the level of poverty. The UNDP, for example, says that as high as 80% of the youth population of Sierra Leone cannot earn enough to lift themselves and their families above the $2 a day poverty line. All these issues that I have just highlighted have a corresponding link with antisocial behaviors normally associated with young people, especially in relation to substance abuse and crime. When young people engage in such things, they normally also become perpetrators of what society dislikes. However, this picture I have painted to you is grim, but a lot is being done to change it, particularly in the current dispensation. As Francine Muyumba, president of the Pan-African Union, once told the African Youth Summit, giving higher priorities in spheres, be it economic and education, health and peace and development, the young people will be able to change the situation of the continent. And the same for the situation of Sierra Leone. In Sierra Leone, in spite of all the challenges I have highlighted, I also know that there are huge opportunities, which if harnessed fully by the youth population, it would uplift young people from their present-day predicament. We all are witnesses to the strategic and concrete steps being undertaken by the government to raise responsible and resourceful young people under the government's human capital development agenda, and not nurture youth with the ideology of Bra Yibobodi. That is why the President, His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, clearly stated at the state opening of the second session of the 5th Parliament in May 2019 as follows: the practice of providing handouts to youth is not sustainable and cannot change the lives of the youth. That is why he has not only consistently expressed his determination to alleviate the sufferings of youth, but has also taken the necessary and required steps to provide the enabling environment for young people to thrive. From the education sector to the agricultural sector, from ICT to technical and vocational sector, there are enormous opportunities being created for the youth of this country to succeed. We all have seen the tremendous programs being rolled out for young people under the government of President Bio through the vibrant and very hardworking youth minister, my very good friend, Mr. Mohamed Oman, as we fondly call him. At the vocational and tertiary levels, our institutions are being made centers of comprehensive capacity building and locally relative to our national development. As the President himself put it while speaking at the Forum on the Future of Education in December last year, he said, there are initiatives to improve access to TVET and tertiary institutions, review policies that will clarify curriculum objectives and improve learning outcomes in various delivery modes, develop capacity through global partnership and research, review existing acts and governing policies, improve financial management and quality assurance, and implement various infrastructure and technological projects that will substantively improve the quality of our TVET and tertiary institutions and make us regionally, if not globally, competitive. All these, the biggest beneficiary of such programs are the young people. And the president was absolutely right when he told students at the Miltimagai College of Education and Technology last year that if the fourth industrial revolution and the future of global trade and investment is about automation, big data, artificial intelligence, advanced robotics, efficient machines, then our workforce of the future must be equipped with the requisite skills to participate meaningfully in that global economy. You are the workforce of that future. And I must add that you are already the workforce of today. In line with this, we are all witnessing the truth that the government is investing tens of billions of loans for workforce development through basic training, reskilling, and upskilling in the bid to expose young people to innovation, manufacturing, agriculture, and other economic transformations. To ensure this happening faster, we see the government has taken steps aimed at transforming some of the polytechnics into universities, so that more attention and resources will be dedicated to them in order to educate productive Sierra Leoneans with the required skills needed in the coming years. At the tertiary level, we see the government is introducing a student loan scheme, which is at its advanced stage of development, based on my independent research into the issue, to provide universal access to higher education while still supporting the most needed students and government granting aid. There is also the Youth in Agriculture and Youth in Fisheries programs, which again, my brother the minister is leading and spearheading. In fact, when it comes to agriculture, the International Humanitarian Organization, Nysc, is emphatic on the benefits young people will derive from this sector. It's a sector that we young people don't like to associate with, mostly in Sierra Leone. But this is what the International Youth Corps says. Engaging youth meaningfully in farming, as well as in agriculture, can provide young people not simply with income, but also with work that is meaningful, respectable, and attractive. Young people of Sierra Leone, we have to go to the farm. We have to be ready to wear our wellies, the welling things. You know what the welling things are? Those boots that we use for farming, and go down and be dirty in the bush. It provides respect, provides food, provides resources. We have all seen recently the commissioning of hundreds of tractors and other farming equipment to enhance large-scale mechanized farming across the agricultural sector in the country by the government. You may have also seen the launching of the large-scale farming project by the Right Honorable Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julio Jallo in Port Loko District. An agricultural investment group from UAE is investing over $50 million in rice cultivation at the Rombe swamps, made up of 14,700 hectares of clean and clear farmland. These are all opportunities for us young people. In the area of business, the government has also been very magnanimous by providing soft loans to small-scale businesses, which are mostly operated by women and young people to enhance their social and economic well-being. This also goes with the social safety net, targeting the poor and vulnerable population to alleviate them from poverty. In combating corruption, where I am the general sent by the commander-in-chief, you all will agree with me that one of the biggest enemies to the youthful population achieving or attaining their full potentials in the country is corruption. That is why I have always said, and I will repeat here again, we have to fight it like our lives depend on it, because it does. And my team at the ACC continue to relentlessly lead the effort to give corruption a very deadly blow on the nose, and if possible on the head, so you can have concussion. We are strengthening our laws by facilitating the passing of the Anti-Corruption Amendment Act 2019 to give us the requisite ability to take corruption head on, which has helped us greatly in revolutionizing the fight against corruption, which is an enemy to all of us, not just the young people, but every Sierra Leonean. I need not repeat to you all the immense progress that our conscientious effort has made in the fight against corruption, as we continue to occupy positions of respectability in all global indexes. We should give ourselves a round of applause for that. Young people, you have to rise and be part of Sierra Leone's revolutionary transformation. You have to occupy this opportunity now. From all what I've highlighted, young people should now clearly see that a very fine and fertile ground has been set, not only for their development, but for the development of the whole nation. More needs to be done and will be done. But I am entreating all of you to take advantage of now, of today. And I am highly encouraged to see this number of young people who came forward to be part of this program called the National Youth Service as a transition point from university level to the world market in Sierra Leone. The learning environment and opportunities that have been created by the government are ones that the youth of this country must embrace and take advantage of today, and firmly launch the country into the glorious future. Those currently enrolled in schools and tertiary institutions must be studious and work hard to make their studies meaningful to society. It's not just studying. It's about coming out and making that study meaningful to society that is important. You have to do it if we are to change Sierra Leone. Those with no formal education should acquire meaningful skills from the polytechnics that are being established across the country, so that they can live a productive life by contributing to their country's socio-economic development. Young people of Sierra Leone, particularly you who make up this call, you should see yourselves as guardians and protectors of public projects and resources. I'll repeat this to you again very slowly. Members of the National Youth Service Corps, you should see yourselves as guardians and protectors of public projects and resources. For example, where there are clear signs of willful destruction and sabotage of public utilities, you should and must stand up and do what is right to protect it. Patriotism is a charged national word. To be patriotic is a charge, it's an action word. It's about what you do for your country. Therefore, we have to each go around with love of this country etched lovingly on the scrolls of our hearts and use it for the change and development that Sierra Leone has been yearning for. Violent crimes and substance abuse should not be your portion, as some would say. You have to make yourselves meaningful for yourselves, your families, and society. One way of accomplishing this is by getting yourselves engaged in productive activities as ambassadors of this initiative of government now known as the National Youth Service. You are all ambassadors. You are going to represent Mr. Onana Jallo. You are going to represent Mr. Minister. You are going to represent the fine gentlemen and ladies who have taken their time to develop you. Be ambassadors. If you come to the ACC as the National Youth Corps, you should be a one-man statement of patriotism every day when you are saved. In the area of the fight against corruption, I will not leave if I don't admonish you on that. The young people of Sierra Leone should join the national and global accountability agenda. In some countries, young people are setting up movements, not only to fight against the scourge of corruption, but also to side with anti-corruption agencies in order to expose acts of corruption in their offices and communities. You are all ambassadors of the fight against corruption. You should be willing to take your phone and call commissioner and say, this minister is stealing. I saw him. My director wants to steal government property, Mr. Commissioner, you have to come now. When you do that, you are not a snitch. You are not spying on anybody. You are being patriotic and serving your country. You see, in other countries, they are setting up social media blogs to counter fake news, especially those stories that tend to undermine accountability and the work of the anti-corruption agencies. In some instances, young people set up community-based organizations dedicated to matters of transparency, accountability, and integrity in public life. You have to find your own initiative and help in the fight against corruption. Mr. Minister, Mr. Coordinator of the National Youth Service, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by expressing the words of former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. The path is yours to construct and to pursue. The path is yours to construct and to pursue. Basically, you have to invent your own journey. So I urge you, the youth, to rise and be apparent. Stand up. Live up. Jump up if you may. Leap up, straight up, and take your place in Sierra Leone's revolutionary development. Do not wait to be invited to take a seat on the table. You have to demand one and occupy it fast and now. Now is the time to turn Sierra Leone's dreams into today's reality for ourselves, for our children, and those to come after us. With youth constituting 80% of the population, you hold the keys to unlocking this country's potentials. Unleash it. I am inviting all of you to turn. Permit me, Mr. Coordinator, and the officers in charge, for these gentlemen and ladies to speak to themselves. I want you to turn left or right to the person closest to you and say, we are the ones they have been waiting for. Louder, I know you've been in the song. Yes, yes, you are the ones they have been waiting for. I want you to go out and unleash your potentials for Sierra Leone. Long live Sierra Leone, long live the National Youth Service, long live the country and government of Sierra Leone. Thank you all.
Today I have the honor to stand here to administer this oath to the new West Corps members, batch 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to repeat this pledge after me. When I say I, then you say I and then followed by your name. Hands on the chest. After 2 we go. 1, 2. I, member of the National Youth Service, batch 3, hereby pledge to follow the leadership of those in authority, and in particular, I shall, pursuant of our aspiration to build a united, peaceful, prosperous, just, free, great nation, and of our motto, improving youth productivity and promoting national integration, and development. At all times and places, think, act, and speak first as a Sierra Leonean, regard fellow Sierra Leoneans as my compatriots, be proud of our motherland, appreciate and cherish the culture, traditions, arts, and languages of our nation. Be prepared to serve and work honestly, faithfully, selflessly, effectively, transparently, and consciously in any part of the country to which I may be deployed. And if need be, pay the supreme sacrifice for our fatherland. Not only genuinely identify myself with the problems and aspirations of the people of the areas in which I work, but also lawfully tackle difficulties and challenges in a disciplined and responsible manner. Continuously to the ideals of National Youth Service during and after my service here. So help me God. Thank you very much.